For severe weather, CBS meteorologist Craig Allen on a tornado watch that's in place.
Now runs from eastern sections of Louisiana into Mississippi and right through portions of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle.
Right now on Wall Street, the markets are all up. The Dow is up 90 points, the NASDAQ up 190. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or
Now you have a mic and you are live.
Okay, so we are live on YouTube right now. Yeah, I can hear myself. And if you can move that camera to where I'm actually, that's okay. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, we have Joshua from Startup Grind BR, and we have Ann Hindrichs from, hold on, Our Lady of the Lake Children's Developmental Center at McMains.
That's it.
Got it. Joshua Anderson and Hindrichs. Drew's in studio. Drew didn't want to be on the camera. Drew's shy. And then Brian Haldane's on Master Control. We're going to be doing a earlier episode because which sporting event is today, Brian? Softball, or we got March Madness too?
So
man.
we've got men's basketball is going to be on Eagle 98.1. Baseball is going to be on 100.7 The Tiger. The facilities at LSU only allow us to automate 2 programs at once,
Right.
which means the softball game has to come directly to our studio and run through a live board.
Got it.
You've been bumped by Beth Tarina.
Listen, my ego is vast, but it's not so vast that I don't appreciate the fact that certain athletic events take precedent over me or the show. Not me.
Softball at Texas. Should I not said that?
All right, ready when you are, man. And then you can share the YouTube. Drew, the YouTube is live right now. If you wanted to share the YouTube, you could.
I think I have Wi-Fi access.
It's okay.
So, yeah, I'll share it later.
Killing your mics for a second. Stand
Sure.
by. Here we go.
If you're a small business owner, you've probably noticed how the big banks like to force you into one-size-fits-all financial service products. At Neighbors Federal Credit Union, we've created a suite of flexible commercial checking accounts designed to fit the specific needs of your local business. And with 9 full-service locations throughout Greater Baton Rouge, we're always just around the corner. We're a local small business looking out for other local small businesses. Learn more about Neighbors commercial checking accounts by visiting neighborsfcu.org. Neighbors Federal Credit Union. We're here for you. Insured by NCUA.
When you've been in the industry for over 20 years,
Good evening. This is Franz Borkart. Coughing, breathing, oh man.
Right out the blocks.
Right out the rough.
I mean, you want to cut it and start over?
Yeah,
Because we're
let's-
recorded
yeah,
today.
Let's start it.
All right,
over.
YouTube. Reset.
Sorry.
I've done that live, Franz. Don't sweat it.
All right, welcome to the Geaux Rouge radio show. This is your host, Franz Borkhardt, for episode 110. 110 of the Geaux Rouge show. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Talk 107.3, welcome to the show. You know, sometimes we record at 6 o'clock in the evenings, but sometimes we have to make room for different sporting events. So that's what we're doing this week. We're recording a little earlier than we normally do, but I'm glad that we are, because that has allowed us to have the following guests in studio. We're going to have Ann Hindrichs from Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health Children's Developmental Center at McMains for our first segment. And then we're going to slide into Joshua Anderson with Startup Grind BR. He's going to talk to us about Startup Grind BR as well as Accelerant. So it's going to be a fun episode this week. I got to tell you, there's been a lot of talk in Congress right now about getting rid of daylight savings time. And you know what? I like it.
Not just talk. It has passed the Senate.
It's going to the House, right?
2 steps away. 3 steps away. It's going to pass the House, and then it's going to make it to the president's desk, and the president has to actually sign it.
So where things get weird for me is in 2 weeks, I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to Sedona, and it's like a different time zone, and I don't think they recognize.
They don't.
So it's 2 hours away from Baton Rouge. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm excited about this. I don't know how the folks in Baton Rouge feel, but I'm sure there'll be discussion. I'm sure there'll be talk about it. Look, if you like the Geaux Rouge show and you want to watch some of our mini episodes, you can go to www.geauxrouge.com. Also, if you have show ideas, if you're like, hey, you need to have these people on the show, or you need to have this business on the show, email me at info at geauxrouge.com. And odds are, if you email me, I'm probably going to put those people on the show. Before we get into our guests this week, we're going to thank our show sponsor. These are the people that make the Geaux Rouge show possible, the men and women, the businesses. First and foremost, we have La Divina Italian Cafe serving select wines, ice-cold beer, plus their exclusive sorbet mimosa. Awesome brunch place. We've got Dr. Gunjarena with MD VIP at Heal 360. You can check her out at www.drrena.com. She is my concierge medical doctor, Brian. She's the one who's been getting credit for all the healthy strides I've been doing in my life. I went and saw her. My blood work came back this week, and it's never been better. Down. Are you sitting down still? Still down 95 pounds. Net 95. Net 95.
Net 95?
Total 95. Total 95. So I've gained a little bit back, but my numbers are beautiful, so I'm okay with it. And then last but not least, our final show sponsor, the Borkhardt Law Firm. That is my criminal defense law firm. Check us out at www.borkhardtlawfirm.com. I'm very blessed that I have a law practice that affords me the ability to do the Geaux Rouge show and celebrate the men and women, the businesses, the folks doing great stuff in Baton Rouge. So we're going to jump on in. Our first guest today is Ann Hindrichs, the director of the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health Children's Developmental Center at McMains. That's a mouthful, Ann.
It is a mouthful.
So, Ann, I'm excited that you're here today because you guys, I have been a fan of McMains, and then you guys have some wonderful events coming up that I absolutely want to promote, want to get people to. It's coming up very soon, right? So we're going to start with, Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health Children's Developmental Center at McMains. First of all, what is McMains and what are you guys? It's one thing now. It used to be two.
It is.
Okay, so what exactly do you guys do?
So we are a nonprofit pediatric therapy center. We provide rehabilitation to children who have any kind of developmental disability or developmental delay.
Awesome. And then you recently merged with McMains, right?
Well, with Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health.
Right.
Right. So we've been around 68 years. But as a possibility of growth and being able to provide more services to the children that we see in this area, and because Our Lady of Lake Children's Health has some amazing programs, their Pediatric Development and Therapy Center, they also have outpatient services. All of us coming together will be able to provide even more to the children in this area.
Well, this was the no-brainer, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm excited because you guys have a couple of really good opportunities to help support you guys coming up. Let's start with the big event coming up. Talk to me about it.
So March 30th, we're going to have 11 wineries coming in from California that are coming to the Baton Rouge area. and then we're going to have Louisiana food.
Okay.
So the first night, it's a 2-night event. The
Right.
first night is going to be where you can pair off small groups, purchase a wine dinner.
Right.
That's going to be with two wineries and a Louisiana restaurant. So like one of them is going to be the Lombardi wines. It will be with Reynolds Family Winery, and that's going to be at Red Stick Social.
Very cool.
So we have a total of 6. You can purchase these. There's an auction that is online that you can purchase it for $3,000 all the way up to $5,000. You can buy it outright at $5,000.
Right.
But it is online. And one of them has already been purchased outright, which was our 18 steak at LaBerge Casino, which is Fess Parker and Stout Family Winery.
So this is an excellent opportunity, guys. If you're listening, and you have a group of friends that are into wine, into good food. I mean, those just make sense, right? Into good wine, into good food. You can either buy one of these opportunities outright for $5,000. All the money goes to charity,
Yes.
Goes to help support you guys, and then or you can do the raffle route of
The auction.
auction,
Yes,
excuse me,
yes.
where you're making bids, and you might be able to get it for less than $5,000. Again, all the proceeds go to help the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health and Children's Developmental Center at McMains.
That's right.
Very, very cool. I've seen the list. If I wanted to get more information about that, Ann, where would I go? What website?
So go to McMainsCDC.org.
And you know what? To help you guys out, I was talking to your marketing folks. I will post the website at the break on the Geaux Rouge page, so you'll be able to go to the Facebook page and see it immediately. Okay, so that's one part of this.
That is one part.
This extravaganza. What is the other part?
So the next night from 6:30 to 8:30 at Live Oak at Cedar Lodge, which is off of Jefferson. And if you've never been there, it is a beautiful place. It's Phil Witters with these amazing Arabian horses. It's just
Awesome.
beautiful. We are having all the wineries will be there. There will be sampling of the wineries. There will be food, the Louisiana food again, which is going back to Solu, which is Oriental Pearl Oyster House. We also have Chef Katie Formbo out of City Club. And, of course, again, 18 steak from LaBerge.
You've got
Mestizo.
you've got some heavy hitters.
Yes,
You've got some good culinary.
delicious food.
All right, so you can buy the ticket to go to this event. Same website?
Same website.
And what is that website again?
McMainsCDC.org.
Awesome. And look, even if you don't drink, I'm not a wine guy. I don't drink alcohol, but you could still go and have a great culinary
Absolutely.
experience. There's going to be some cool stuff at this event. Walk me through what this event is going to be like for an attendee. Like, what kind of things should I expect?
So when you come through, there will be a little bit of an overlay to be able to see what we provide in this community. Some
Okay.
of the things the children have done. We have a lot of programs, a canoe trip, an adapted bike program, along with all of our therapy, physical, occupational, speech, assistive technology, educational, all kind of things.
Awesome.
We will have Kendra Scott, which will have a jewelry pool, which everybody loves on that. We will have the wine. We will have some raffles. We have a bottle of Blanton's to have a silent auction item.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now, Blanton's is kind of like a unicorn. That's that is a hard one to get. And I again, I don't drink anymore, but in a past life, Blanton's was one of my go-tos, and I will tell you, it is hard to get. The actual cost of the Blanton's, Brian, is very reasonable.
$68.
Yeah, it's a unicorn.
But finding it is the problem, yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if you get one, I think
You have to collect the lid, the
that's
top of the
right.
bottle.
So you never really have all of them. You can always get more.
I don't disagree with this thought. Okay, so what else is going to be at the event?
So we'll also have Gnarly Barley,
Okay.
which will have a beer garden there. So if you're not a wine drinker or you just want to mix your alcohol, you can. We will also have, of course, a band, Careless Whisper, that will be with us. And it'll just be a fun night of being able to come together, especially after all of the last few years of the craziness. We all deserve a time to be able to just enjoy ourselves.
And just to remind folks, all the proceeds for this event go to help the very children that you guys help at the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health and Children's Developmental Center at McMains. I've been doing great with this.
You
now.
really have.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
it goes to help these children, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. It all stays here
I like it.
with our.
So great opportunity to have fun, to support a local charity that, by the way, helps our own children in Baton Rouge. Which, by the way, McMain, the area for you guys is Greater Baton Rouge area or whereabouts?
Well, we are Greater Baton Rouge area, and we are also surrounding parishes.
Awesome.
So yes, we
It
have
stays
a
here.
wide.
It stays
here.
I
Absolutely.
love it. Anything else we need to talk about, Ann, for you guys or the event?
Well, we are at 1805 College Drive. We are still there, but again, growing with Goodwood, with the services that are over there, and we're very excited. Be looking to see more things that'll be coming for our community to help the children, not just in our area, but all over our state.
And just before we let you go back to your very busy day, just to remind everybody, children with developmental issues. What are we talking about here? We're talking with kids that have anywhere from what kind of issues that they need help with.
So it can be very, very mild. A child who is having some fine motor difficulties, how to hold their pencil, how to organize their paper, in school when they're doing the work, how to have the sound of the letter R.
Awesome.
So some basic developmental delays, but we also have those children who have learning problems, who have autism, who have cerebral palsy, genetic syndrome. So really, any child who is struggling and the parent is just not quite sure what's going on, they can call and we can help them figure that pathway out.
So I am a parent of a 6-year-old, and as a parent, I am often the one struggling and often the one trying to figure out what's going on and have no clue.
Absolutely.
So fortunately for me, Fisher, God bless Fisher, my son, is doing okay. But if he was having some developmental issues, Our Lady of the Lake Children's Children's Developmental Center at McMains is certainly going to be who I would turn to help. So, Ann, thank you so much for coming in today. I will make sure I post that website on the Geaux Rouge Facebook page as well as the website. Keep doing the wonderful things you guys are doing, and anytime you guys need anything, just reach out, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. So, food event, wine event. I mean, this smells like a Brian Haldane date night right here. A date night
Well,
opportunity.
I'm married, Franz. We can't date.
You can go on a date with your wife.
Yes.
You can go on a date with your
Yes.
wife, sir.
Yes.
I mean, if I
meant we can't date.
You it's a darn shame, sir. It's a darn shame. So look, I definitely want to tell you, I have been impressed with Our Lady of Lake Children's Developmental Center at McMains. They're doing some really wonderful things, and you definitely need to, if you're listening, you definitely want to check out the event. The wine dinners are awesome looking, man. The wine dinners seat a bunch of people. It's very intimate. It's some of the restaurants and the culinary forces behind them are really nice. So, well, anyways, transitioning, we've got Joshua Anderson with Startup Grind BR in the studio. Joshua, how are you?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me.
So I've been telling Joshua, and it's on me, Brian. I've been telling Joshua now for a few months, hey, you need to come on the show. You need to take over the show for an episode or two. And so I ran into him at a coffee shop. It wasn't La Divina, so we're not going to name the coffee shop. But I ran into him, and I was like, hey, dude, what are you doing this week? And he goes, I don't know. And so he's here today. Okay, so first and foremost, I see Startup Grind BR on Instagram. That's the most prevalent way I see them. What is Startup Grind BR?
So Startup Grind BR is a chapter of an international organization called Startup Grind.
Okay.
That partners with Google for Startups.
Okay.
And our goal is to build a community around the entrepreneurs of Baton Rouge. So we want to connect entrepreneurs with each other, help them learn, and help them to be able to learn from successful founders and CEOs in our region. So we have on skilled speakers and business owners from all walks of life, and allow people to connect at those events.
So you guys do events how often?
Once a month.
And then what do those events look like from the attendance standpoint?
So around 30 people will show up. We'll have a fireside chat, and I will interview our guest speaker. That takes around 45 minutes or so. We'll have drinks if people are into that, and that's before and after, like a networking session, so that they can connect with other people.
So you're looking at attending an event that has an opportunity to network, has the mingling component to it, and all the things that go with that, and then you're also getting you're getting to listen to a fireside chat with you and a business business owner, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what a start. I mean, essentially. And by the way, for those who don't know, what is a startup? What does that mean?
Great question. So startups can take all sorts of different forms. I would say that a startup is an early stage company, typically in the process of discovering who their primary customer is and beginning to scale that up, as opposed to a company that already knows who their core customer is and their business method. Startups move quickly and they iterate from different versions of their product and different versions of who they think their customer is.
Now, that being said, these monthly shows, if I wanted to get information on who's going to be speaking, how to get tickets and whatnot, where would I go to do that?
Great question. Startup Grind BR. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter or any sort of social media platform like that, and we will be posting links to our next event. That's the best way to follow us is on social media, I would say.
All right, cool. And then if I wanted to attend an event, generally how much do these tickets to these events cost?
They're pretty cheap, so around $10 to $15.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah,
man.
we just want to get people in the door. That's our main goal, so we're
Right.
not trying to make a killing on it.
And it's first come, first serve, right? So
It's first come, first serve. Yeah, so if they sell out, so sorry.
Yeah.
But we want to have as many people as we can accommodate in a venue.
So when is your next event?
Next event, I think, is going to be on April 27th.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so that is one thing that we wanted to talk about, just, who you're with and what you're doing. But, I promise you that you can basically take over the show this week. So what do you want to talk about, man?
Perfect. So I think what's really been on my mind lately, and my main venture is dedicated to this, is code literacy.
Okay.
So the idea that literacy in, say, the 1800s is in the same position as coding is today. And we live in a rapidly changing environment where technology changes at the speed of sound, basically. And for people who grow up today and don't learn how to create those tools, they just end up consuming them.
Right.
Whereas instead you can become a part of that future, or at least understand the forces that shape you by learning how to code at an early age.
So if I'm a youth in Baton Rouge right now, what are my code learning opportunities? Are schools teaching this? I know there's entities that, I've had entities on here before that teach it. What are my opportunities?
Well, to be transparent, is not great right now.
Okay.
And that's why I started Accelerant Education to work on that.
Okay.
So around 71% of Louisiana's high schools have some sort of foundational computer science program. It's not a good situation. For people looking to learn on their own, you can learn through online mediums. There's lots of free courses available online. Some people are in a school where they're lucky enough to have access to something like that. And there's also great kind of para-educational organizations like Code Ninjas that allow people to have extracurricular opportunities. So I'd encourage people to look in their area, see what they can afford, and even if it's free, you can learn things.
So
that are really useful.
What exactly is Accelerant?
So Accelerant is my startup. That's my personal startup grind, I guess.
I love it. I love it.
Put in the brand plug. And so I'm focused on helping and equipping school districts that are wanting to expand their computer science programs or to implement new ones through teacher training.
Okay, very, very cool. And if I wanted to get information on Accelerant, where would I go?
Accelerant.education.com.
Now, let's say I have a kid that doesn't have a school program, but is interested in let's say I'm a parent whose kid doesn't have a school program for coding, and I'm listening to this. If I were to go to the Accelerant website, what would be my, resources, or how would I connect in terms of getting my kids some coding options or coding education?
Good question. So I will say this, and I may regret it.
That's okay.
If you are looking for resources to get your child educated, I would say first, feel free to reach out to me. It's joshua@accelerant.education.com, and I will point you in the right direction if it is at all in my power to do so.
Right.
Also, you should talk to your school board, to your principal. If you do not have access to a computer science program, you should. And I would love to help your school system implement that.
I guess for me, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around, and I guess I'm directing this to both you and Brian. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact that in 2022, a school wouldn't have some kind of computer science program.
Yeah, it blew my mind. That's why I had to start a company.
What is the biggest obstacle? Is it funding, or is it just the stigma of, oh, this is scary and we have to hire more people? And
I mean, there's never just one cause for an issue like this. So some of it is Louisiana needs to adopt some better policies, and there's some really great people. Like I know Senator Sharon Hewitt is working on this actively. So shout out to you, Sharon, if you're listening to this. Also, so policies are one step. Another step is school leadership. So like in Baton Rouge, we're fortunate to have Dr. Cito Narcisse leading up our kind of modernization plan.
okay,
And he's kind of shifting us in the direction where we have more of those career pathways. But I think the biggest issue that we have right now is just a lack of training.
okay.
So we need to give people the tools that they need in order to teach these skills.
So if you're just now tuning in, we're sitting down talking to Joshua Anderson. Josh is with Startup Grind, not Grinder, not Grinder.
Startup Grinder.
Oh, it's been a week. Startup Grind BR, as well as Accelerant. We're going to take our first break, Joshua. We're going to come back in the second segment and talk more about what you guys are doing. Again, if you want more information about the Geaux Rouge show and watch on-demand episodes, you can go to www.geauxrouge.com. This is your host, Franz Borkhardt. We're going to be taking our first break.
Perfect. Thank you,
We'll be coming right back. Brian Haldane, Master Controls, Franzi steering the ship. All right, we're on break. Audio's still doing its thing. Let me do this.
I mean, we're still on air.
We're still on video air. We're still on video air. So real fast, while I'm talking to you, I am going to share. Drew with McMains sent me a website that I'm going to share on the Geaux Rouge page.
Oh, perfect.
Brian, I don't even know. Did any of your kids get coding from their elementary? I know one of your kids is about the same as my kid, but
No.
I mean the other two.
No. We had the option for it, I want to say, but
Like as an extra.
yeah, summer camp for sure.
Yeah. I
Well-
would definitely encourage it.
Well, and then one of your kids is in a very good high school now.
Oh yeah, I'll be shocked if she doesn't end up with it at some point.
Which high school?
St. Joseph's Academy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she has. Yeah.
Post this, and then we can take a couple minute break.
Okay.
So who's going to be on the next? Who's your next guest on Startup?
Anthony Ronaldo.
Anthony Ronaldo. That name sounds very familiar because
Anthony Ronaldo. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. There's no L in the name. Yeah. Ronaldo.
So what's he doing?
So he runs Cards and Culture along with he has his hands in a lot of different things.
Yes, he does.
He's a cool guy.
Big in the NFT space right now.
Yeah. So he's into crypto. He is kind of modernizing, I guess, sports assets for the crypto era.
That is a very apt description. That is the tightest elevator pitch I've heard on him yet. Yes.
Perfect.
Anthony's all over the place. He's up here a lot.
Yeah, he's cool. Renato.
So we're going to be coming back.
Yeah, whenever y'all ready.
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Cool.
CBS News special report. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a rally in Moscow to build support for the invasion of Ukraine. But it wasn't easy to follow on Russian state TV. Video feeds of the event cut out here and there. This is what it sounded like.
Welcome back to the Geaux Rouge radio show. This is your host, Franz Borkhardt. Brian Haldane's on Master Controls. This is episode 110. Such a great song we're listening to. What is this?
Ain't Nobody. I believe it's Shaka Khan, if I'm not mistaken.
Shaka Khan.
You make me look it up.
Shaka Khan.
Make me look it up.
I feel for you.
I would know.
I feel for you.
I would know if you hadn't asked.
I think I love you.
From the Breakin' soundtrack. Remember Breakin' with Ozone and Turbo?
Man, you're really. What year was this?
82, 83?
My goodness.
No, I do not remember.
Yeah. For those of you listening that are maybe 3 to 4 decades into your life, you're welcome.
Yeah. Shaka Khan featuring Rufus.
So, my favorite Shaka Khan song is "Tell Me Something Good," also featuring Rufus. So, this is the second half of the Geaux Rouge show. If you're just now tuning in, In the first half, we had Ann Hindrichs, director of the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health Children's Developmental Center at McMains. And then we had Joshua Anderson with Startup Grind BR, as well as Accelerant. Josh was going to be taking over this half of the show, well, most of the half of the show, and we're not talking about Shaka Khan and other things of that nature. Man, oh man, oh man. Do things just get derailed so quickly? It's radio.
Worth it, though. Worth it.
So I want to know, where do you think most of the listeners, viewers come from? Do they come from the YouTube live video, social media, or do you think they listen on the radio? If I had to do a comparison, what do you think, Ryan?
So hard to say. I would say YouTube via social media, though. Not like YouTube direct to YouTube. YouTube linked through social media. Because radio, it's once it's done, right?
Right.
Yeah. Once
it's one and done, baby.
Right. YouTube lives forever.
It's evergreen.
Or till it's flagged, because I played Shaka Khan. Actually, that was the folks on YouTube could not hear the song, so we're good.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So if you weren't able to hear, it was Shaka Khan. So, yeah, I got derailed there.
Just a tiny bit.
I asked that question because folks ask me, hey, how do I watch the Geaux Rouge show? You know, or whenever I do like legal commentary on your show, how do I watch? How do I listen? And I'm like, well, you know, I always direct people to the YouTube.
Same.
Yeah, because it's just you have to for radio, and I love radio. Don't get me wrong. I started in radio. I mean, you did do radio. Radio, you have to be in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Digital, it's, you know, you can be a lazy watcher, listener, and just have it, you know, all work out. So before we jump into another segment with Joshua, we're gonna thank our show sponsors. These are the folks that somehow, some way continue to support the Geaux Rouge show. Shaka Khan. Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Reyna with MDVIP at Heal 360. You can check her out at www.drreyna.com. Man, I'm excited because I have a lot of friends and family members who are starting to work with her and seeing her through concierge medicine, and they're excited because they're seeing results, Brian, and I like seeing people be the best versions of themselves that they can be, and that includes being healthy. Because if your health's in order, then you get better sleep, you feel better, you can do stuff like 5Ks. By the way, I'm doing a 5K this weekend. St. Patty's Day, 5K, Shamrock Run. 5K.
Before the parade.
Before the parade.
Nice.
I'm not.
You run the route, right?
So
you
I run the parade route.
Yeah.
As you may remember, I'm not big into parades. That's a me thing. There's nothing wrong with parades, and St. Patrick's Day Parade is a wonderful parade.
Best parade Baton Rouge has to offer.
I think that's a fair statement.
Hands down.
I think pound for pound, even compared to some of our great like Artemis and compared to Spanish Town, it's a different parade. So I'll be running that 5K, and thanks to Dr. G, I am in a position to do that. La Divina Italian Cafe, open every day with your custom-made from scratch breakfasts. Dude, you got to get the biscuits. The biscuits, they're biscottis.
They're good.
Little egg, little cheese, little sausage, or you can do bacon. It's a solid breakfast, and their brunches are out of this world. And then last but not least, the Borkart Law Firm, the finest criminal defense firm in the multiverse. I mean, I haven't looked at the other multiverse criminal defense firms, but I'm pretty sure Borkart Law Firm ranks up there. It ranks up there.
Oh, top 5.
I mean, you can check us out at www.borkartlawfirm.com or occasionally Thursday, 2 to 5 on Court TV.
I mean, it's happened.
It's about to happen again.
Oh, do we have another date?
I got signed up. So the first episode, like we're talking about Court TV again because I have to tell everybody about Court TV. The first one was kind of like tryouts.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to let you on. Like, if it doesn't go well, hey, you were on Court TV once. But I got asked to be back on, so I'm very excited.
Same time slot, though.
Same time slot, but you know what? You know what? I just make myself available. Much of my media success as a legal commentator has been I show up on time. I'm mostly prepared. I show up on time, mostly prepared, and I'm consistent.
NFL analyst Mike Detillier always says the best ability is availability.
Availability. That's right. That's right. So Joshua Anderson's in studio with Startup Grind BR. He also has his own startup, Accelerant. Welcome back, Joshua.
Thank you, Franz.
You're welcome, man. So I like what Startup Grind BR is doing with his events. I am a big fan. We live in a world now where people have podcasts, people have vlogs. Vlogs. I just wanted to say vlogs. They have vlogs. They do shows. How would you characterize the events that you guys do? Because you do record them, right?
Yeah, they are recorded. I would characterize it as a live podcast. Almost.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
A live podcast where you can hang out with your friends before and after.
Is it hard for you? I mean, are you the sole driving force behind finding content and finding the guests, or are you giving assistance with that?
Well, I need to give a big shout out. So my co-director Kazra is a fantastic human.
Shout out to Kazra.
Yeah, shout out to Kazra. So he helps a lot. We also have a great lady out of South Africa who helps with our marketing.
Cool.
So shout out all the team members.
Well,
not just me.
I got to tell you, finding content and a good look. I've bragged about how good of an attorney I am. I am an okay radio host, and live video as well. And I got to tell you, coming up with content sometimes is like the heavy lifting, right? Figuring out who you're going to have on the show, what are you going to talk about. This week it was easy. We had the first half of the show. If you're just now tuning in, we had Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health Children's Developmental Center at McMains. And then I've wanted to have you on the show for quite some time because I like what you guys, I really do like what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
My involvement with the startup world is very limited. I have hosted the Pitch BR events for a couple of years now, which I love doing. And I'm
so much fun.
And by the way, as a business, I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur, but Borchardt Law Firm, criminal defense firms are not viewed in the same way as like you're kind of a startup, right?
Yeah.
It's a service, which you're doing a service too, but it's just not viewed. It's a professional service. It's not viewed the same way. So
yeah, it's more of a small business.
Right. And so it's always awesome for me to watch the pitches and to watch kind of what you guys are doing and how you grow from day one to day two and then so on and so forth. So look, let's start with Accelerant. How long has Accelerant been around?
Let's see. So Accelerant was born so about 2 years ago. I was sitting in the office of Stephen and Todd from, if you aren't familiar with Nexus LA,
Nexus
I know
LA.
you are.
Yes.
They are amazing, and if you are starting a business, you should look them up because they're awesome. So I was sitting in their office, and I was telling them how important coding was and how we should have like coding boot camps in Baton Rouge. And they pointed out the obvious flaw that I didn't know how to code.
They didn't know how to code?
I didn't know how to. I guess this was more like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't have any kind of coding experience back then?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, yeah, that's true. I probably can't do that very well if I don't know how to code. Fast forward a few years, and I do know how to code. That this business was not my goal when I ended up learning how to code. But I ended up they have a incubator program or an accelerator called Ignition.
Okay.
And I think they just opened up or are about to open up applications for the new cohort of Ignition, which, if anyone wants to start up a business, look up Nexus, look up Ignition, and apply to it because it's amazing.
The folks at Nexus, by the way, Nexus Louisiana, are amazing.
Yeah.
They're just really good people. And their business is to help business, right? It's to help small businesses, to help folks like you, not just figure out how to do what they're doing, but to give them resources, to give them guidance, to mentor. All right. So if you're starting up, so back to what we were talking about, if you're thinking about doing a startup in Baton Rouge, what are your top recommendations?
Ooh.
I mean, you work with Startup Grind BR, you are a startup, and you've done stuff with Nexus Louisiana. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I would say businesses, especially starting up a business, it's about community. We are relational beings. We exist in a relational matrix. And I think first you have to get yourself in a community of like-minded people. And if you plunge into that community, you will find yourself beginning to do the things that enable you to start a business. So yeah, come out to the Startup Grind meeting, talk to the people at Nexus. We're blessed with a great Baton Rouge area chamber. They're amazing as well. They have a lot of great resources for small businesses that they can point you to. LSU's Innovation Park also has some great stuff. Get plugged into the community, and they will help you meet you where you're at. For different people, the next step will look a bit different. But everyone needs to start with the community.
One day you didn't know how to code. Now you're helping get coding into educational environments. I mean, that's how easy it is, right? I mean,
and I met my old boss, who I learned a lot about coding under at a Nexus event.
Okay.
And I had no idea that was where that was going to take me.
So, Startup Grind BR, we were talking about some of the shows you guys do, monthly shows featuring, showcasing different startup individuals or business people. if I wanted to connect to the Startup Grind BR, where would I go again?
Look us up on social media. So Instagram, Twitter. I think we're on Facebook. So Startup Grind BR. Look us up, and then we'll be announcing all of the details for our events, where to buy tickets, etc.
And look, these events, they have about 30 spots. It's fireside chat style. You get to network with different people.
Really cool people.
So
yeah.
I need to go, Brian, I need to go because I probably am going to be the only criminal defense attorney in the room, and I like being the only criminal defense attorney in a room.
Everyone so far, I think you would have been the only criminal defense
I mean, I'm
attorney
definitely going to be the best criminal defense attorney in
the
room.
multiverse.
Yeah, in the multiverse, if not in the at the Startup Grind BR.
Is
event.
the room in the multiverse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The room is in the multiverse.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the metaverse.
No,
The room's not
that's a
in
whole
the
other
metaverse.
topic.
So is the metaverse really caught on yet? Are we still?
No.
Okay, so this
Well,
is-
you heard him a minute ago. He said, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I might be on Facebook, so no.
No, it's not.
I don't care about Facebook.
Nobody
See, that's
does.
interesting. That's
I
interesting
hate it.
because.
Nobody
Yeah.
does, yeah.
But here's the thing, though. For my business, for my platforms, with a radio show, and I really should be on TikTok.
Yeah.
But with my platforms, I use mostly Facebook. I'm least on Twitter. Instagram, I use predominantly to promote this as well as food.
Yeah, but
You
you
know-
got to know where your audience is at.
Well, right. But like from a criminal defense attorney standpoint, I would say Facebook is probably the best for a law firm. I mean,
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, clients don't want you taking selfies with them. You know, so clients don't. It's not like, hey, I had a lunch with a client and at the prison, and it was a Salisbury steak, and we're gonna take a picture of the Salisbury steak and hashtag tasty.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or yummy. So, but I asked this question, and not to derail the conversation,
Yeah.
but because I'm always interested. Look, what is universal now are the TikTok videos.
Oh, yeah.
I can sit there on Instagram and I find myself, wait, how did I get on TikTok? Or I'm on
Yeah.
YouTube, or I'm on Facebook, and I'm like doing something on Facebook, and I'm like, wait, I'm watching videos on. And once you're on TikTok watching videos, ooh,
Hours later.
like
Hours later.
like it's space time is out the window. It's like a Vegas casino.
And I still haven't figured out how to make all of them catch like wildfire because I'll have like one video with 300,000 views and one with 100. Not 100,000, 100.
I think it would help you if you were a hot chick.
That would probably
That
help.
does help. That
Right.
would help a lot.
Food videos, I watch a lot of the food videos. Like when they're cooking something, you'll get me
Consistency also plays into it too.
right.
It does.
Well, that and going back to our conversation about radio, podcasting, and content, consistency is the key, right?
Yes.
I mean, you've got to. Now, Brian has a show, Joshua. Brian has a show, Mornings with Brian Haldane, and Brian has this wonderful, like, you'll have certain guests at certain times each week, like Franz Borchardt for Legally Served at 6:30. Well, now it's 6:25. 6:25 every Wednesday. And that, in that respect, content it becomes a little bit more manageable. You're not trying to eat an elephant every single time. But I was talking at the break. I was talking before the show. Man, coming up with new guests, new content every single week, and I'm going to have to do one show a week.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. It's not easy.
And if I can deep dive into TikTok for a
Please do.
second. Because, so in my mind, this is one of those reasons why coding education is so important. So TikTok is controlled by essentially a black box algorithm.
Okay.
Where it just optimizes for engagement. That's more or less the metric that it's aiming at. That's why, because it's really good at that, you can spend hours on something like TikTok. But it's all code on the back end. Nobody actually wrote what optimizes TikTok. And we're controlled by these tools in our lives without necessarily even understanding what goes into them.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, the algorithm game has floored me in the last couple of years. So when I started the Geaux Rouge show, it was Facebook Live. Was the video vehicle we would download. And I like talking about this stuff because whenever people see the show or whenever I talk to people that do their own shows, Brian, I like finding out, hey, what are you doing? This is how I did it. In the beginning, we were doing everybody talk 107.3. We were doing Facebook Live, and Facebook Live you could actually see the views or whatever their definition of views is. And then we switched over to YouTube, and YouTube feels like, I mean, I'll have an episode of the Geaux Rouge show, and it'll have like 50 views, and I'm like, man, that was a really good show, and like I know more than 50 people have looked at it, but it's only quote unquote 50 views. Right now, during the live chat, I've got one person on the live chat, but we've sat here before and we knew that there was like.
We've done an experiment before where we put it on every computer on this floor, which is a different login for every single one. So it was that computer, this computer, 104.5, 98.1, 100.7, and the production room. And the number of viewers was less than the number of computers that we were physically on at the time.
It may be location linked to the filtering by.
It might be. Or it may be that they're encouraging pay to play.
Which could be that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all a different login. They're all a different email, all a different handle, all a different persona, if you will.
Yeah.
So let's go back to coding then.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
accelerant coding, getting educational opportunities for coding into is it just Baton Rouge or is it?
No. So I've been talking with districts outside of the state.
Good.
Also inside of the state. So yeah, not just Baton Rouge.
So to me, coding is one of those things that. So my son took coding with Code Ninjas for a while.
Nice.
Until he bit and struck the instructor and was graciously asked maybe not to attend in person. That's right. He bit and struck the instructor. And in fact, I asked my son, "Why did you strike and bite the sensei?" And he said, "Because I wanted to."
Well, everyone's had a bad day.
Yeah. Fisher was having a bad day. Look, Fisher's
he's
a good
criminal defense attorney, and he didn't even drop an allegedly on his own son.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That happened.
Guilty as charged, Your Honor.
He's 6 years. Well, as a good criminal defense attorney, I know that a 6-year-old, the likelihood of a 6-year-old being charged in juvenile court for a specific intent crime is likely, not going to happen. But that being said, I remember at the beginning, I was like, man, how is this little kid going to learn how to code? And they have some really good platforms and vehicles of teaching him how to do that. And then, dude, who wouldn't be hooked on coding? You teach someone how to make something animated, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, I want to do that. So how do you make, I guess my question for you is and it's a loaded question, how do you make coding sexy? I mean,
how to make coding sexy? I think we are naturally curious, and we are, I can't remember the Latin for this, someone else came up with it, but we are creating man.
Okay.
We're tool making man. And if you give people, once people have the spark that they can create something, and once they see their code, even if it's a 6-year-old or a high schooler, no matter where they're at, once they see something they did created, and that has a real impact, that is not just the textbook that they made it, you can't ever take that away.
It's like finger painting, or more to the point, it's like, dude, when kids make jewelry, the finished product, it is as if he made platinum. Yeah, and I feel that that's kind of like coding is you watch a tiger that you created doing something like mauling a rabbit or something. Maybe not mauling a rabbit. Maybe just waving or throwing a ball or something. And it's just you watch that and you're like, hey, you did this, buddy.
Yeah.
And then the job opportunities from there later on in life when you're actually doing, business coding is phenomenal. So look, if you're just now tuning in, we got Joshua Anderson from Startup Grind. I keep doing that, dude. I'm
Startup
sorry.
Grinder.
Grinder,
the business I'm
Grinder, for those who know, is a different dating app, which has nothing to do with Startup Grind BR. Startup Grind BR, as well as Accelerant. One more time, Joshua, how do they get in touch with you or with Startup Grind BR?
So if you're curious about Accelerant, you can look up Accelerant Education, or you can email me at joshua@accelerant.education.com. Startup Grind BR, just look us up on social media, Startup Grind BR, and follow us.
So you were doing I was at an event not too long ago where you were doing a pitch, right?
That sounds like something I would do. I don't remember the event.
Yeah.
That was Ignition. So that's back at the origin of Accelerant.
I mean, I was the MC for Ignition as well. I mean, no big deal.
No big deal.
Dude,
best MC in the multiverse?
Yeah, there's so many more talented MCs for events, and eventually Nexus, Louisiana, and others are going to figure that out. So, but yeah, look, we got about 2 minutes left. I really do want to funnel people to your Startup Grind BR events.
Okay.
Again, how do I get a ticket?
Yeah.
One last time.
Yeah. So again, follow us on social media. We will be posting a link to our next event very soon, where you can buy tickets.
$10 to $15, right?
In that range.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. And yeah, look us up, get plugged into the community if you're running an entrepreneurial business, or if you would like to. That is the best way. Just plunge into that community.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joshua, for being on the
Franz.
show. And if there's anything you ever need help with, or ever want to come back on for any reason, let us know.
Perfect. Really appreciate it.
Oh man, Brian,
Yes.
I don't want to. I'm gonna let you in on a sad note. I will not be doing the show next week.
What?
I will not be doing the show next week. And actually, I'll be doing the show next week, but I won't be doing the show the following week because I'll be out of town. So,
Okay.
So maybe I'll do a live episode from Sedona. No. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I like having a break.
Yeah. Well, and there's probably gonna be softball anyway, so
Right.
You
Because softball takes precedent over the Geaux Rouge show.
it takes precedent over all of us, man.
Well, look, on that note, that's about it for this week's episode of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. Thank you for listening. Go to www.geauxrouge.com for more information on the show. And we will be back next week in Baton Rouge, not Sedona, for another episode. Have a good weekend. So bye, Faith. Bye. Excuse me. Bye.